Okay, guys, today we're going to start off a story that is very relevant to my life. Apple hits $3 trillion with a billion fewer shares. On January 3rd, 2022, when Apple stock touched $182.88, Apple had just closed fiscal Q1 2022 with 16.865 billion shares. We won't get today's share count until Apple reports Q3 2023 earnings in a month or so, but it's likely to be roughly 100 million lower than last quarter's 15.847 billion, or an estimated 15.738 billion. I thought this article was pretty cool, and it shows Apple's dedication to returning money to shareholders. Me being a shareholder of Apple, I'm very, very happy with this. Apple is my largest holding by far, and I run a personal, highly concentrated portfolio of only 6 stocks, and Apple is one of them, and it's my largest by far. I think I have over $23,000 invested in Apple, which may not seem like a lot to you, but to me, that is a significant amount of money. And I just thought this was amazing, that the shares outstanding as of December 25th, 2021 was 16.865 billion, and we're approaching not even 2 years. 2 years later, and they have a billion shares lower. That means they're averaging around 500 million shares per year that they're taking off the table, making my slice of the pie that much larger. In that same vein, along that same storyline, Apple's market cap is bigger than France's economy and India's entire stock market. To fully appreciate just how big Apple's current $3 trillion valuation is, Insider compiled a list of different economies and country stock markets that are now eclipsed by the size of one single American company. Germany's entire stock market, number of companies 255, combined value 1.33 trillion. India's entire stock market, number of companies 1,242, combined value 1.44 trillion. Italy's entire economy, the GDP, global domestic product, is 2.01 trillion. Canada's entire economy, 2.14 trillion. China's entire stock market, 2,119 companies, combined value of 2.53 trillion. The United Kingdom's entire stock market, number of companies 594, combined value 2.62 trillion. France's entire economy, 2.78 trillion. The combined value of the bottom 200 companies in the S&P 500. And Apple also makes up like 7, maybe closer to 8% of the S&P 500 as it is. Just insane. I continue to be super bullish on this company. And if you guys are interested more about my stock portfolio and my Apple stock in particular, or any of the other 6 holdings that I have and what my cost bases are, let me know in the comment section below. Maybe I'll expand the channel a little bit into stock and my portfolio updates. Goldman Sachs may exit partnership with Apple, Wall Street Journal reports. The bank, Goldman Sachs that is in talks with American Express to take over its Apple credit card and other ventures with the tech giant, the report added, citing people familiar with the matter. Apple said earlier this year that it will partner with Goldman Sachs to offer high-yield savings to card customers as banks compete for customer dollars. And that partnership apparently isn't going very well. I read another article stating that Goldman Sachs lost somewhere around $1.2 billion on the deal already. And I guess they're trying to cut their losses and get out of their consumer ambitions. Apple Car is a matter of when, not if. Apple has yet to even acknowledge the rumors that it is developing an Apple Car. Yet it is an open secret since the company has applied for at least hundreds of related patents, down to a recent one concerning seatbelts. The company has also been recently linked to a self-driving test facility in Arizona. Plus, there have been periodic reports of major staff changes on the project, such as losing managers, engineers, or even a shakeup of the whole team. Speaking on CNBC on Friday morning, Wedbush analyst Daniel Ives says the only question over the Apple Car is when, not if. Ives has actually said that exact phrase before. Back in 2021, he wrote in a note to investors that it was a matter of when, not if, Apple would enter the electric vehicle market. Wedbush's Eyes was responding to reports at the time of Apple's various discussions with potential car partners such as Hyundai and separately Nissan. The analyst described these discussions as a dating game. He said then, February 2021, that there was at least an 85% chance of Apple formally announcing a strategic car partnership within the following 3 to 6 months. That obviously didn't happen. We all know that. But now, Ives predicts an Apple car launch by 2026. That backs up some previous reports by Ming-Chi Kuo that said a projected 2025 launch date had fallen behind. Globalstar tips more satellite connectivity features for Apple's iPhones. Globalstar is hinting that more satellite-powered features are coming to iPhones. Globalstar's MMS mobile satellite service system will continue to evolve over time to support a growing array of direct-to-handset features and services in its licensed spectrum. The statement suggests Globalstar, which already offers satellite phones, is working to bring satellite-based voice calls and internet to Apple devices. Although the company is already providing satellite connectivity to the iPhone 14, the system currently only allows people to send text messages to emergency services when traditional cellular services are out of reach. The feature has already saved lives, but rivals like AT&T and AST Space Mobile are working to enable satellite-powered voice calls and internet access to unmodified consumer smartphones. However, Globalstar has its own global ambitions by partnering with Apple. Quote, ultimately, hundreds of millions of people globally will have Globalstar connectivity at their fingertips in situations where communications are critical and no terrestrial network is available. Apple itself appears to be working on bringing more satellite services to future iPhones. In December, the company was granted a patent involving transceivers that could be fitted on a device for the purposes of powering voice and internet services. Apple has been hiring hearing aid engineers. The company is working on a new hearing test feature that will play different tones and sounds to allow the AirPods to determine how well a person can hear. The idea is to help the user screen for hearing issues, not unlike how the Apple Watch ECG apps check for heart problems. The hearing test could Sherlock or make irrelevant existing apps like Mimi. Apple held a meeting with its developers a few years ago. Separately, Apple is exploring how it could better position AirPods as a hearing aid, a $10 billion a year market that's ripe for reinvention. Apple has already added hearing aid-like features such as conversation boost and live listen, but they don't yet have regulatory approval. Last year, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration eased hearing aid purchase rules, allowing for over-the-counter sales without an exam or prescription. That's created more of an opening, and Apple has hired engineers from traditional hearing aid makers as part of its efforts. There's also engineering work being done on adding sensors to the AirPods so they can determine body temperature via a wearer's ear canal. The type of data is considered more accurate than wrist temperature, which is collected on the Apple Watch Series 8 and Ultra models while users sleep. Apple relies on that information for fertility tracking, but wants to expand its use to determine if a person has, say, a cold or illness. Strasbourg Apple Store ransacked in riots over Paris police shooting. The Apple Store in Strasbourg, France, was attacked on Friday following riots over the shooting of a 17-year-old boy in the suburbs of Paris last week. In a video shared on Twitter by La Presse Libre, rioters can be shown throwing stones and breaking the windows of the Apple Store to get inside. According to La Presse, multiple iPhones and other Apple products were stolen in the process. In other cities in France, like Bordeaux, Apple has taken precautionary measures to protect the stores from destruction during the protests. The Apple Store Sainte Catherine in Bordeaux was boarded up overnight to protect the windows, and the Apple logo was also covered in case of damage. And that'll be the last video of the day. Like the video and subscribe to keep up. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next video.